Hey everyone, Tactics here with another advanced routing video, this time looking at the Theater of Pain. If you're interested in my other advanced routing videos, you can find my The Other Side video or an Necromancer Wake video linked in the description below or over on my channel. If you're looking for some more simple routes that are easier to execute, built for pug groups, or if you're just looking to get KSM, I have a video for that as well, which I would definitely recommend checking out. For these advanced routes, I will be relaxing a lot of the constraints I put on myself for these simple routes video, including heavy use of skips, maybe requiring certain classes or specs, having larger, more coordinated pulls, etc. So they may not be the best option for you in all situations. If you do want to use these routes for yourself though, I'll post the Wago link in the description below so you can import it into your own Mythic dungeon tools for your own use. With that said, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to be notified when I post more Mythic Plus content, and let's hop into it. Now, Theater of Pain is a dungeon kind of like The Other Side, where your route is going to change depending on the lieutenant rotation, and that's because Varuth and Soggodon are tied together here, and Oros and Arkalith are tied together here, and if you're not aware, the two you want to rush ASAP tend to be Varuth and Arkalith. So you want to try and get those guys as quickly as possible, and since they're not attached to each other in this dungeon, you will change your route depending on the rotation. Regardless though, we always do this first pull, which is just the Bloodhorn with the boss here, Lust, all cooldowns, no matter Fortified Tyrannical, we always do that. The only time you wouldn't want to do that is Bolstering Week. Bolstering Week, you would probably want to just skip all four of these guys. How to skip this? We do Mind Soothe, so we Mind Soothe this left guy and walk right by. Sap would work. Basically anything from that Mist skip would work. So Sap, Blind, Imprison, or not Blind, sorry. Sap, Mind Soothe, Imprison, Paralyze plus Ring of Peace, those kinds of things would all work. Warlock Gate also works. You can skip through the pack here. This guy, you will need to hard hug this left wall, otherwise he does have stealth detection, so you would either need someone to, if you screw up, to like have a hunter or a mage kind of pull him to the side and feign death or invis, or actually just have someone pull all this stuff and run over here and die to the side. That works as well. But yeah, so we basically just always pull this Bloodhorn with this pack. We focus Desi all the time because that's really the only dangerous one, and again, you're just getting kicks on Sathel. Lust, all cooldowns, kill that boss, and we actually save this 3-pack for just before the last boss. So you don't turn around and kill this, you just wait, you go downstairs. And this is where your route will differ depending on what the lieutenant rotation is. So here, let's assume it's the one we have in the MDT right now. So Varuth is right here, you just instantly kill him. And then with this rotation, you actually go Necromancer wing first. So what we actually do after killing Varuth is we Shroud straight to Arkalith. So if you see here, we have first boss, we have Varuth, we have Arkalith. So we use a Shroud to get through here, just to get these two offensive powers immediately. You just have both of them. It gives you a ton of value over the course of the dungeon, so we get them ASAP. We'll back pull these spirits by LOSing here, and then we'll keep moving through this wing until you get to the boss here. Notably, we go right and then right again. We find just mass pulling this area is pretty good. The one problem we have is obviously grouping. So what we kind of tend to do is we have the mage spell steal the bone shield, nuke down these Maguses, drag over the bone forge here, same deal, steal bone shield, nuke down Maguses, and repeat, steal bone shield, nuke down Maguses. And by that point, this guy is close to dead or had just kind of died when you get to these three. So that's what we do on this pull. I just have it as one pull because this technically we're just chain pulling. Again, bolstering would make this kind of spooky. And the other affix that is kind of scary in Theater of Pain is Inspiring. It's actually very scary. So this pull in particular, it's very scary. What we end up doing is just CCing. There's a Bone Magus. Blind works here. Shackle Undead works here. A Death Knight can control Undead here. Death Knights are very, very good on Inspiring Week. They can just pretty much control all the Inspiring mobs. It's very, very good. But yeah, that can get very scary. This pull in general is very scary. We tend to hard focus that Soulbinder just because he puts out that nasty magic dot onto people, and that combined with the Portal Garden AoE is just it's a lot of damage. So we hard focus soul binders whenever they're up, and we try and avoid them. As you see, like we're avoiding this soul binder, all these soul binders over here. We do our best to avoid them just because they're a very, very scary mob. We will lust again on Kultharok, again on both Fortified and Tyrannical, just lust on that guy, and then we'll come back and clear these 6 guys after Kultharok is down. After getting him, we move into Zav's Wing, I believe, yeah. So we pull these guys together. Soggodon is right here. So the real question is, can your tank survive the last boss with Soggodon up? And that is a real question on Tyrannical weeks. I think, honestly, there's probably only a couple tank specs you'd want to use for that. Prot Warriors, because Spell Reflect will completely mitigate even the physical portion of the big tank buster on the last boss. And we've done it as a Guardian Druid. So Guardian Druid can live it as well. On Tyrannical weeks. On Fortified weeks, I think pretty much all tanks are fine. It's still going to be pretty scary. But in general, we don't think Soggodon gives you a ton of value. And the timer on this dungeon is fairly tight. So any time you can save by not pulling a lieutenant is going to be good on higher keys. For this pull here, same deal as other things in this dungeon, where if you don't have, if it's bolstering or if it's something like necrotic, probably you wouldn't want to pull this together. You'd want to pull this separately. So just be aware of the affixes. Bolstering in this dungeon is kind of bad as well. Bolstering and inspiring, both a little scary in this dungeon, let's say. But we just moved down, mini boss. We skip this with Shroud again. This is probably one of the scariest packs on Fortified in the entire dungeon, and we just nope out of that. We just go right by that mini boss. We do Zav, and at this point, Lust may or may not be up. It's probably not up, especially on Fortified weeks. So what you would do is you would then Lust this big pull right here. So we just pulled the entire room and Lust to get it on CD. So that'll be available again for the last boss. We're then just moving here as normal. We get these 3 guys. We need to experiment a little bit more with Oro skips on this dungeon. It's a little sketchy, I would say, and it would depend on the interaction between the suck in and the slow. Like if it still sucks you in at the same speed, but you're slowed, so you have trouble running out of it, that would make that a hard no. But we need to experiment with it a little bit more. But for now, I just have Oros getting killed. But he is a spot where you could save a lot of time if your group can live the last boss with Oros alive. For now, we're killing him. We do also a regular skip here. You can Shroud skip this one. There's no other place you're shrouding in this boss fight, or in this dungeon rather. But you can also just kind of walk by when they're at the edges of their pat. You can just walk through and squeeze in. Pretty normal stuff down here. Killing this pack together, killing the gas bag alone, killing this pack together, going into Gorechop, and then you're back upstairs with the Mordretha boss. A note on inspiring. So there's a couple spots here. One of these refuse guys is inspired. So to pull this all together, we either hard CC him, which I think is the best play, or if you have something like a DK, like I said, you can actually just control him. So that makes that easier. Same deal down here, like this pack has an inspired mob, which is super spooky. Actually, I think this pack also does one of these Sludge Spears, and it's just like Sludge Spear casts go off all the time on inspiring weeks, just depending on where these guys end up jumping. It's a real big pain. It's rough. So inspiring week in general is hard for this dungeon if you don't have a DK. So that would be my advice for this dungeon is maybe avoid it on inspiring weeks. But yeah, we're going to the last boss here, and like I mentioned, Mordretha with Soggodon is very scary on Tyrannical weeks. You'll need to make sure your tank is heavily prepared for that. Fortified weeks, it's not too bad though. So we don't do anything crazy on Mordretha. We lust normally when it's up, probably around 50% is when we end up getting the lust. Very rarely do we get to lust on pull. Depends how slow we're going, but usually it's about a 50% lust to try and nuke it through the scarier end phase. But that is pretty much it for this route. Now, for the rotation, same pull here like I mentioned, going down, but now we have Soggodon here and Varuth here, so they've swapped places. Now, as I mentioned, we want to rush Varuth. So we do this Zav pull here first, and then we just kill Varuth right after. So you're sneaking Varuth. You're not doing the whole Zav ring. You're just going right in, doing the first pull, and getting to Varuth. And then we actually go to Gorechop's wing because Arcolith is now over here instead of Oros. Do the same big pull, kill this guy here, LOS Arcolith out to here, kill him in this hallway, and now, again, you've got both your offensive powers very, very early on in the dungeon. It's a little later than the other route. You're like 28% into the dungeon at this point, but it's still very, very early on, so not a big deal. You got 2 powers early on. But then at this point, we do actually use a Shroud for lust timing. So we normally walk by these guys. Do not invest Shroud getting by these gas bags. We just do it the regular way, wait for them to be at the end of their pat, squeeze in. And we come down here, and so we have to do something here to get by it to get good lust timing. So we do invest Shroud. Note though, you can't just Shroud. If you just Shroud across this mob pack right here, they jump down and they will pull you out of your Shroud. What you have to do is we have our rogue stealth through first. If he gets caught by these mobs, he'll just vanish, and then once these mobs are already out, they're out. So then he goes back and we Stampeding Roar, Shroud through, and we go straight to Gorechop. Then after Gorechop is dead, with Lust, we'll Lust Gorechop here. We'll turn around and we'll backtrack and we'll kill all this stuff here, and then we'll use the hooks to go back up there. That Shroud is important for Lust timings. That's why we do that. And from there, we just, again, we're skipping Sagadon or not skipping it, depending on Tyrannical Week, Fortified Week, if you think your tank can handle it, either way. And then we're going from there, we W key through the Necromancer wing. Spirits, Oros over here. We do the Portal Guardian, same deal, right and right. So we're doing all these same pulls. Lusting on Koltharok again. So we do have Lust up for here. And then you're just finishing off the Zav wing. So this is already dead. So you're just moving in mini boss, shrouding, mini boss, Zav, no Lust for sure. Moving up, killing this pack before the boss. Actually, I don't think I mentioned that. Yeah. So while this RP is going on in both this route and the previous route, you kill these 3 guys right here, and it'll be dead shortly after the RP starts. So you have a bunch of time you have like 15, 20-ish seconds to kill these guys. Just kill them, and then you can pull Mordretha afterwards. And same deal, we Lust again on Mordretha. And this dungeon in general, there's just a ton of boss Lust, because the boss here, they have a ton of health, even on Fortified Weeks. A few of them are very, very scary for your party to deal with, so we just tend to move Lust onto the boss whenever we can. But there we have it, my advanced routing tips for Theater of Pain, showing off a couple different routes depending on the lieutenant positioning. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help. If you're looking for routing tips on other dungeons, I have a video that has simple routes for all 8, as well as a couple videos with advanced tips just like this one, with more coming over the next couple of weeks. So be sure to be on the lookout for those. If you have any questions regarding this Theater of Pain route, other dungeon routes, even just tanking in general, feel free to leave a comment below or come stop by my Twitch channel at Tactics, and I'll do my best to answer. That is it for this video, though. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.